Hello viewers, my name is Tyler Marchand, and today I'm going to be sharing my picks for the best hit songs of 2016. Looking back through this year, my reviews are more mixed than outright negative. The 16 songs that I'm going to be talking about are ones that really did stand out this year, and this year overall was just drab and weary, as opposed to just outright horrendous. That doesn't mean the shit didn't exist, because oh boy did it ever. Meghan Trainor shifted from sexist to egotistical. We got the textbook definition of a nice guy anthem, and rock music barely existed. People also tend to say 2016 sucked because of the deaths of several major artists like Prince and George Michael, but above all, people bag on the year because of a presidential election with the most unpopular candidates, yes, plural, ever. I don't want to talk about that thorny issue too much, but if there was one positive about 2016 in music, it seemed to be that bro country was losing mainstream appeal, metropolitan country wasn't really taking off at all, and there started to be a noticeable shift toward the neo-traditional sound that started to metastasize, spurred on by Chris Stapleton and Jon Pardi. Although this wouldn't really fully materialize until 2017 and onward. You want proof? Only 3 country songs made this year-end list, with at least 2 others just narrowly missing the cut. Anyways, my regretted omission from 2015 goes to Riptide, so now let's get on to the 6 honorable mentions. And right out of the gate, we have one of the most polarizing songs ever. However, the public tends to lean toward positive views of this song, but there's a reason why they tend to only lean in that direction. Lil Yachty. You may already know this if you've seen some of my 90s videos. Back in 1999, I lived in Boulder, only an hour away from Columbine, and one of the things that discomforts me regarding the incident is that my father and younger brother share the same first names as the 2 perpetrators. So yeah, Lil Yachty's bit here is kind of super cringe-inducing for me. However, Big Baby Dram and the flute instrumentation just put a smile on my face. They single-handedly saved the song, and I just couldn't go without mentioning this. While Coldplay had 2 songs on this year-end list, they typically only have 1 when they do make a year-end list. Both of those songs were among their weakest efforts in my opinion. Even this song, especially in the lyrical department. But there's always that magical element to their instrumentation that just elevates their songs for me. And some background vocals from Beyonce that fit in beautifully. So yeah, I still like this song quite a bit. Once I put Style on my best list for 2015, you should have expected that I would talk about the obvious response track. This song truly does sound like Style from last year, especially in that chorus, so it loses originality points there, but the 4 boys all sound great here regardless. This would wind up being the last song from the boy band, but as we all know from 2017, the boys would have varying degrees of solo success, so that is something that our next year-end list is gonna be able to look forward to. Twenty One Pilots had a really good 2016, with 3 songs from the Columbus, Ohio duo making the top 25 of the year-end. However, after this year, they've just never been able to recapture the success that they experienced throughout 2016. I'm a bit saddened by that, since the duo were a true bright spot in this dreary year. I really think that they should have lasted longer than just this year and some spillover into 2017. But to be honest, I enjoyed the ride while it lasted. Just been lucky that we had it at all. The Chainsmokers were also a duo that saw big success in 2016. I remember hashtag selfie from when I was finishing up high school. I hated that song then, and I hate it now. But this song was an immediate step towards quality, even if their drops are very basic. Here, however, the basic drop works to the song's favor, and the synths involved are instantly catchy. The vocalist, named Roses with a Z, fits in well, so kudos to these guys for correcting themselves after a very bad first impression. Oh, as much as I wanted to put Adele in the top 10 again, I have to be honest, but this song doesn't strike me with the same oomph as a lot of her other hits. Her relatively quiet songs have never really gripped me like her more bombastic material, such as Rolling in the Deep, Set Fire to the Rain, or even Hello, but I just can't deny that Adele is a true vocal talent, as demonstrated in this reminiscing track that I heard quite a bit back in 2016, but not so much today. Okay, those are my honorable mentions. What were the 10 songs from this very underwhelming year that I liked the most? Strap yourselves in, and I mean right now. Number 10. Oh, I imagine that this entry will piss people off to no end, and that I am putting this song above Adele should be enough for the bloodhounds in the comment section to want my head on a spike. But I'm sorry, I just can't hate this, even though I'm technically supposed to. Is the song stupid? Yes, it is 100%. I cringe thinking about all the sexual innuendos crammed into this song. I can't even listen to the "you're fucking delicious" part with a straight face. Is this song a discount Uptown Funk? Also 100% yes. That bass line that opens up this song sounds like it's almost indistinguishable from the do that start out that classic. However, at the end of it all, I just can't deny the super infectious instrumental to this song that still gets radio play today. You guys have known that I've put some strange choices for best songs on my list before. Probably some of the biggest ones being Never Again and Moves Like Jagger. And while most of you will want to pummel me with eggs, you just can't, just tell me, you cannot deny that this song stood out in a year like 2016. Number 9. Okay, now that the most contentious pick is out of the way, let's get on to the more tolerated songs from this year. Actually, now that I think about it, it won't be until number 6 that we get to a song that people will universally claim as great. But in the meantime... Out of the 3 Chainsmokers songs to become big hits this year, this is the one that I liked hearing the most throughout the year, but it seems to have been forgotten compared to their other big hit from this year, which is really strange considering how big this song was. And it's been unfairly forgotten, I might add. Guest vocalist Daya doesn't sound too bad here, especially compared to her solo work from the same year, but most people tend to bag on this song for the drop. Admittedly, the drop kind of caught me off guard the first time I heard it, but I don't really hate it as much as others do. The drop soon evolves into trumpets towards the end of the song, so it's a bit of a payoff that's actually worth it. Anyway, before I move on, I like to do a little audience poll. Since the Chainsmokers are basically synonymous with their mega smash Closer, and there are several songs called Closer, I like to do a bit of an audience poll. Which year had the better song called Closer? 1994, 2008, or 2016? Number 8. Anyways, remember what I said about country having its weakest year in terms of representation since, probably at least 2007? Well, you may have noticed that 2015 had no country songs on my best list. If Homegrown by the Zac Brown Band had made the year-end list, that would have been a different story, but Fuck it, why am I talking any further? I think you all know where I'm about to go with this entry. Sorry about that little technical difficulty there. Anyways, when looking back at Tim McGraw's chart history, one thing that surprises me is that he was still able to score hits after Indian Outlaw, a song that I still can't believe my mother exposed to me, allowed me to listen to as a kid. By the way, she is where I would hear country music the most often, since she just loves the genre. Regardless of your views of Indian Outlaw, I'm just glad that he was able to continue having hits after that song, because his track record since has been very good. This song just barely made the year-end list, but I'm happy it did. This song can sound preachy, like it's something my father could say to me during a pep talk, but Tim McGraw has been around for so long that his delivery comes across as more grandfatherly, despite the fact that he wasn't even 50 when this song came out, and that makes it all the more endearing. On the off chance that I hear this song today, because I don't really hear it as much as I did back in 2016, I will still enjoy it wholeheartedly. Number 7. I imagine that this entry will raise some eyebrows, though probably not to anywhere near the same extent as Cake by the Ocean. Mainly it will be because people don't view it as believable in the slightest, and that right there was the giveaway. If Ariana Grande continued to make music in a similar vein as her 2016 output, I'd be a lot more on board with her than her current output, which is just very underwhelming to say the least. Anyways, people bag on this song mainly because they don't believe that Ariana Grande is a dangerous woman. I mean, she wears bunny ears on the album cover, for crying out loud. But it is the instrumentation that puts the song in my good graces. That guitar lick that plays during the verses has an old western type feel to it, is very pleasing to listen to. But then something happens that I wouldn't have expected in an Ariana Grande song. That guitar solo, it is relatively quiet, but it is still there, and it made this song automatically stand out. And of course, she sounds great vocally, but what are you to expect from her? Number 6. Okay, I hope this video will be smooth sailing from here on out, since these next 6 songs have been consistently placed on best lists for 2016. And in keeping with the spirit of having some far out opinions, the one that is considered to be the best for many critics is only my number 6. To be honest, I don't really hate Cooler Than Me. For me, that song is saved by that very catchy 80s style synth, especially towards the end of the song. When it comes to Mike Posner songs that I hear very frequently, Cooler Than Me is the one that I hear the most, and I really wish I would hear this one. Although I did hear it quite a bit back in the day, back in 2016. This song's lyrics are a depressing story about how Mike Posner faced a downward spiral in his life after his fame had flamed out back in 2011. When people talk about this song, they tend to give the praise to the instrumentation, especially in the Seeb remix, and yeah, the drop of that remix is something special. Since Mike Posner hasn't had a hit since this song, I'm kind of wondering what he's been up to, and I just hope that he's in a better place than where he was between 2012 and 2015. Because I don't think anyone deserves to go through that. Number 5. I remember back in the fall of 2016, it was around this time that the quality of the music that was getting popular was starting to go back up, and it would ultimately culminate in the gloriousness that was 2017. Most of those songs that were bringing quality back to the charts wouldn't make a year-end chart until 2017, but one got just big enough to have an impact in 2016. I shouldn't have to say that this song is awesome, even if the lyrics are basically dissing you, the listener, for making The Weeknd a superstar where he is better than you will ever be, has everything that you will never have, can have all the beautiful women that you dream about. And then you get to Daft Punk's production. The instrumentation isn't anything complex, just drums and relatively quiet keyboards for the verses, but the robotic ahs for the chorus add to this song, making this an ego trip that the Weeknd, quite frankly, earned it. Okay, that was probably a weak one. Number 4. With my number 7 pick, you had to know that this would be coming. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ariana Grande at her absolute best. I remember hearing this song frequently during the summer of that year and knew that as much as I liked Dangerous Woman, I would like this song more. And why shouldn't I like this? Vocally, she's subdued for the verses, starts building herself up in the pre-choruses, and just cuts loose for those choruses themselves. Add in the 80s inspired synth instrumentation, and you are left with a song that should have been as big, if not bigger, than Dangerous Woman, since it could have convinced Ariana that this type of music would work for her perfectly. But I'm just happy that this was a hit at all. Number 3. Back in 2016, I was mostly neutral towards this next entry. A few years afterwards, thanks to this song still being played frequently even on pop stations, I realized I should have loved this song right from the get-go. This is the song that people will tend to immediately think of whenever they hear the name 21 Pilots. And why shouldn't they default to this song? A track about reminiscing and wishing that things weren't so complicated in the world and longing for a simpler time, even though the duo know that this is very impractical and cannot happen. Instrumentally, the verses aren't that complex with only bass guitars, synths, and drums, but towards the end, those synths become heavier, especially when you get to that bridge, the wake up, you need to make money part. And I will always enjoy singing the end part of the song with the deep voiced wake up, you need to make money segment. Yeah, this is a very memorable song all around. However, number 2, if listening for 21 Pilots, I wanna hear this. I don't understand why this song tends to not get as much praise as the 2 major Blurryface singles. I'm not saying the singles don't deserve the praise. I mean, they're on this best list for crying out loud, but why overlook this song? Maybe because it is associated with a film that wasn't that very well received? I just don't get it, since instrumentally, this is the most complex 21 Pilots song to have become a year-end hit. The keyboards that drive the verses help with the haunting feel of this song, and I always listen in for that pitch shift part, accented by what sounds like a frog ribbit. That segment of the song is the most rocking sound in this barren year. It's the most rock instrumentation in a year that was really bad for rock. And then there are the lyrics. They fit in with the storyline of the Suicide Squad, bunch of criminals out of prison, but then there's also another message directed at the band's 2 fan bases. One that was with the band long before they blew up, and others that started liking the band only when they got big. Now, if this song is only number 2, then what was my number 1? number 1. I'm going to wrap up my 21 Pilots and their music thing since they unfortunately haven't really had much success afterwards, and I'll just add that back in 2015, they had a modest, small hit that still gets some radio play today called Tear in My Heart. Quite frankly, if that song had made 2015's year-end list, it would have been top 3 material easily. Yeah, it was that good in a year that great. And if it got pushed for 2016 and became a hit, it probably would have topped this list easily. However, it just wasn't meant to be, so I'll just settle for The Weeknd for my number 1 spot instead. As much as I love Starboy, I just knew that I couldn't place it higher than this track from the previous album. This masterpiece from the Canadian Michael Jackson is very upbeat, but the lyrical content for this song is anything but. Basically, it tells the story of a woman who was sexually assaulted as a child, but can't escape that traumatizing memory due to her career having to work as a stripper. That upbeat instrumentation comes to a head in the choruses, but not before a build-up in the pre-chorus, capped off with, "When you wake up, she's always gone, 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 oh." In a year mostly devoid of standout tracks, In the Night by The Weeknd stands out as my pick for the best hit song of 2016. Well, that was my video. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, share with others so that I can grow my channel. Subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of new material. And as always, leave a comment down below. As long as you are civil with your comments, I don't care what you say. Up next, I'm going to be talking about 2017, a year that was a real breath of fresh air after a slog like 2016. What songs from that year are among my favorites? Stay tuned to find out. Until then, I'm Tyler Marchand, and I'll see you later. Take care.